back. It is Around the Mat, episode number 3. I've got two of my friends back to do it again. We got a lot of topics to talk about tonight, some fun ones. We're going to mix it up. We're not just going to do recaps. We're going through the whole thing. We're going through a gambit of some other fun options so I can get some real points and get some real judginess going on. So, welcome. Again, this is Around the Mat. I am at the PJ North on all the socials. If you're watching us live on Twitch, man, shout out to you guys. Thanks for joining us. If you're not and you're watching this on YouTube, thank you. And if you're listening on Spotify or iTunes, I appreciate y'all. So we're going to get into it. Let me introduce my friends here. We got to the bottom left, my man, this time I'm going to get it right, from the Card Foundation, D Tank. Tank, what's good, baby?
What's going on? How we doing, PJ? Happy to be back. The inaugural champion, even though you missed it.
Well, you showed up to work about as much as Roman, so I do appreciate you coming back this time.
Back again, baby.
Thanks, man. And my man, Freddie Fresh, back again. See, Freddie's a committed, man. I really love Freddie. Hopefully his new romance won't take us away from the pod, but I do appreciate him coming back for a third week. Freddie Fresh, what's good, baby?
Back again, here to talk some wrestling with you boys and all the haps of what's going on right now in the world of WWE, AEW, and everywhere else.
Hell's right. I love that. So we are going to do some fun, different transitions this time. I've got the scoreboard on the left, if you can see, or not the scoreboard, excuse me, the title, the topics are going to be on the left side. I've got the scores going, our Iron Man shot clock right there in the middle. We are going to kick it off today with of course the thing everybody wants to talk about, right? Kind of crazy how how the whole thing works is that everybody's back and all things are awry. And let's kick it off. We've got the WrestleMania XL presser, man. All hell broke loose. What a wild time to be alive. The Rock comes out. First off, the fact that they went through the whole presser and never played Cody's music, that's what I thought was the craziest thing. I love the way they did it. I thought Bianca coming out and Rhea coming out, they both did a great job. The whole thing, right? But when it boils down to it, The Rock, Roman, the slap, what a time to be alive. Freddie, what's your take? I mean, I know you you got to watch it live, right, Freddie? Or no, you didn't get to watch it live, right? You missed it. You turned off your phone. So what was your thoughts?
Right. Yeah, no. So unbelievable. I mean, it was basically a show. You can call it a press conference. This was not a press conference. This was a show. This was like watching Raw or SmackDown. I thought they did a really good job with it. Obviously, people are saying, they had a pivot, and that's what they did. Regardless of whether this was a pivot or this was a planned thing all along, I think they really did a great job. I wasn't mad about The Rock versus Roman Reigns. I think too, it's a generational thing. Even though I love Cody and I want him to finish the story, Pat McAfee.
Hold on. You love Cody? Nah. Not today. I don't believe any of that. I don't think Fred loves Cody.
Cody fan. I mean, I don't think he's going to be Roman Reigns, but I am a big Cody.
What does it take to be Roman Reigns right now? Show up to work once every other 6 weeks? So let me ask you something. Is The Rock bigger? Of course he's a bigger superstar. I get that. Outside, but is The Rock better than Roman in the ring, in your opinion?
I mean, again, generational thing. I love Roman, but I mean, Rock is The Rock.
Sure.
I will pick Rock over Roman any day.
Yeah, I've never seen Roman sell a stunner, so I don't really know.
With that being said, I mean, even though Rock's one of my favorites, Rock's career of full time really was only like 5 years.
Yeah, right. Realistic is super short.
Reigns has main evented the last 5 years of WrestleMania alone.
So I sent that in the chat, and I couldn't even believe. I did misread. He did skip 1 year when he had leukemia, right, or when he was going through cancer, right? But eight out of the last 10.
Yeah.
Yo, that's unheard. And I was like, I don't even remember any of those.
The only other guy to do that was Hogan. He main evented the first. Well,
the first 9, technically, right?
You could say he did that, the whole thing, whatever.
Yeah.
But but we haven't seen that, because the other, it's funny. The two biggest stars in the history of the business, their runs were very short. Stone Cold and The Rock. In
sure.
history of the business, I mean, yes, Hogan, but I think you can't deny Stone Cold and The Rock are the two biggest
sure.
all time. and their careers are two of the shortest ever, or at least they're Austin's WWE career, right? But yeah, I mean, so I don't know wrestling wise if you can say that Rock is better than Roman. I mean, I hate to say that Roman is better than The Rock because The Rock's my guy, but
I mean, I can say it. The Rock's better than
Roman
Roman.
is a lot longer, and
Sure.
He's definitely put on longer matches than Rock ever did.
Sure. Okay, that's fair. I didn't think about that.
And the business has changed over the last 10 to 15 years. It's gotten much faster. But The Rock was always fast paced, which is why I always loved him. He was always fast, right?
Yeah, I agree. I think The Rock, like I said, it's a good question to ask because I don't really know.
It's a good question. I don't really have a great answer for you because I don't know.
That's fair. I guess we'll never know because neither one of them likes to work. Danny, what about you, man? Just overarching of the WrestleMania XL, what do you think, the presser?
Fantastic. I mean, that's the way to really capture people's attention. And it's a good sign when you go on social media and there's just that buzz. Where
200 million views like in 24 or what was it, like 72 hours?
Literally insane. And the only thing I wasn't a fan of was I didn't like Seth Rollins' role. Like, he's out there too, and he's virtually the heavyweight champ as an afterthought. Like, he's just standing around, not really talking too much as The Rock, Cody, and Roman are going back and forth. So I felt like he got lost in the shuffle, and I get the dynamic. The Rock's got Roman's back out of nowhere. They're both, protecting the family, dynasty. And then you got Cody needing some backup, and it ends up being Seth because he happens to be on the stage. I thought that kind of took away from it a little bit, but it got the job done, and now we're questioning what really is going to happen. I think that was the end result that they wanted. The Rock could turn on Roman. He could go against Cody. Cody could take on Roman. We don't know officially where this is going yet.
Sure, I agree. That's a good take.
That's a good point.
Luckily, we've got some more time to talk about this. So, Fred, go ahead.
Yeah, no, I just to Danny's point. That was a good point. I thought until the very end of the conference when Seth got really pissed, it almost reminded me of Survivor Series with Punk, and it felt real.
Yeah, he's done it. I think that's the thing about Seth, man. I don't know that there's anybody that's more believable to blur the lines right now.
Yeah.
Actually blurring the lines where you don't really know because his character and his character work has been that way where he's been all of the you know what I mean? Like, you don't really know, does he hate? It's like, damn, that's pretty. And he just his fervor about the whole situation, I thought was I agree with that. That's really
knocked
good.
It out of the park with that. But until that moment, yeah, he kind of looked like a schmuck just standing there in the background.
I don't know. He showed up in his wife's dancing shoes and he was look, Roman talks all that about Seth, but Seth handles it better than anybody. And I do think his outfit
really be able to pull that off, right?
Yep.
His outfits are undefeated. I think they're cool. I think it's a really great part of his character.
Yeah.
Is the whole just like the aura of that piece, just like I just think it was great. But I do agree with that. That's
actually, I think he's evolved better than any other wrestler on the roster as far as character goes.
Sure.
Like every 2-3 years, he flips the script. You got the Monday Night Messiah, you got the Architect. He's gone through so many different cycles of who he is to where he's at now. I think I like that about him, and it's like the throwback to Undertaker. Like, Undertaker always revolved into something new and to keep things fresh. And at first we're like, all right, Seth's back on TV. Like, what is this going to be? And then he gets over with the crowd. They're singing his theme. The outfits, his promos. He's done a great job.
Yeah, he's a hit maker when it comes to that. He's a hit maker when it comes to being able to talk through or being able to come up with things that people relate with or jump onto, right? The music at first, the Monday Night Messiah thing, all of those pieces are integral in his. Some other people like Randy Orton was the Viper, but he started as the Legend Killer. That was really when his thing took off, and he kind of went through a couple different evolutions. But he was always, once he hit the Viper, he was the Viper, right, at that point. So Seth has continued to change it up, which is really, really cool and a testament to his abilities, not only in the ring, but I think he's just one of the best on the microphone. He's believable, so I thought that was good.
I thought they did a good job Monday, not to cut it, but
no, go, yeah.
Following up on Monday, after the press conference, I thought the promo that he did with Cody about having his back was well done and kind of took away from Seth being in the background. They kind of got over that, and Seth looks more important now after that Raw promo. I thought they did.
I agree with that too. I think that's a good way to put it too. I think he looks that was a great way to extend where we're going and where they're headed, because neither one of them can work. I mean, it's best that Cody doesn't work right now, and Seth is clearly still injured, right? So he's working through that. I think that's a great way to continue to keep him on TV and continue to keep it relevant. What's next? I'll just give a quick. What I think is next, right, is Chamber and the Grayson Waller effect. I do think Rock and Roman potentially show up, or I think that Seth and Cody announced that they're going to tag against Rock and Roman. I don't know, but I think that that's kind of where it's headed, right? Because Seth, of course, cannot work right now. I just don't think he could, at least, but maybe in a tag match.
Not worth it, even if he could.
Yeah, so I think, and I forgot to give out, I'm learning so much this week, I'm forgetting to give out points to myself. I'm going to give myself points here. But I think that's what's next, right? I think that's kind of the Elimination Chamber and where we go from here. What about you, Danny? What do you think's next?
Yeah, to piggyback what you just said, I think a nice way to maybe continue to set it up, because, you got to figure Seth is probably facing neither of the three at Mania, so who's his opponent going to be, right? It's probably going to be someone from the winner of the Chamber. But, maybe Seth acts like he's going to work, and he does the chicken shit heel move. He backs out of the ring, and you got a Roman and Rock beatdown of Cody. It's going to...
Man, that would be kind of wild, too. And there's a lot of twists.
When he gets obliterated, and Seth goes back to being that just dangerous piece of shit heel to eventually face a baby face at Mania. I think that'd be a nice setup for all of them.
I like that. What about you, Freddie?
Yeah, no, I mean, I think Rock and Roman have to show up at Elimination Chamber. I think that's where, because I personally believe that we're getting a tag match at WrestleMania out of this. I mean, I think they've done too much, or just in the couple of weeks, to not do that. The way they did the press conference and the way that Cody and Seth had that promo, and then we'll see what The Rock and Roman say on SmackDown on Friday. I just think there's an opportunity there for a great tag match. You still get The Rock wrestling at WrestleMania, which was apparently the original plan. You have them tag, then you could get to Rock versus Roman at WrestleMania next year, right? And I also like, I'm a history guy with it. And Triple H did mention this in the press conference about the WrestleMania 1. The main event was a tag match, right? Hogan and Mr. T versus Paul Orndorff and Piper. So I just think it would be kind of cool if we have an epic tag match, at least main eventing night 1, and then night 2 you get your Roman and Cody match for the title, which they've also obviously already announced. So that would mean Roman and Cody are pulling double duty, and Seth too, because Seth is supposed to face the winner of the Chamber.
Sure,
right?
sure. I do love that.
So I'm not opposed to Roman wrestling twice, Cody wrestling twice, and Seth. I mean, the hell, why not? We get a tag match night 1, and then we get the Roman Cody match we wanted night 2. And then we get Rock and Roman next year. We're eating good, baby.
I love that. So, okay, the final question is, I'm not going to put time on this. We're just going to talk briefly so do we all hate The Rock? Do we think that, as a funny topic name, but, The Rock thing, I think he's done a great job coming back and making himself poignant. And if all the things are true that they say in the sheets and everything, the Gewurz thing, and they're involved in creative and all that stuff, I hope that is true, that he does have his finger on the pulse and he understands what people do and don't want. Which would be really awesome if he did that. So I'm excited to see, I think, like I said, The Rock. Now I'm excited to see him work. At first I was like, okay, I get it. And I thought Rock and Roman would be awesome, but I still think Cody deserves to finish the story. Not even necessarily deservedly so, but he is the best person to defeat Roman for a title at this point, because the Rock story would have been cool and it would have been awesome them fight. I just don't get the title part. You know what I mean? Maybe it's Rock costs Roman the title on Saturday and then Sunday is Rock Roman or something like that. And, I don't know, but I'm just saying, for the Rock thing, I think he actually has done a good job coming back. I think it's been really cool. It's really exciting. And so I don't hate The Rock, in all honesty, yet. But he's close. Keeps up that attitude. What about you, Freddie? What's your thought? Any final thoughts on it?
Rock, doing the heel turn at the press conference, I honestly did not see that coming. So I thought that was well done. I think it was a necessary move. Like you said, Rock and Roman, I want it. I want it there. I wanted it for years. It just so happened that this was not the right time. Like they say, timing is everything. And the timing, ironically, was just not good for it. Also, them having Cody win the Rumble the week before didn't help.
Sure,
right?
Sure.
It's Cody's time. Rock versus Roman needs to happen, just not this year. So
okay, I love it.
And that's coming from a guy that's wanted that match for years.
Yeah, you're a homer for them. So the fact that you're saying that is,
but no, but I just didn't. It didn't feel right. Like I was still would have been happy with Rock versus Roman because we're at least getting it.
Sure.
But I want people to want that match.
Sure.
Right.
Sure.
I don't want people to be like, oh, this is bullshit. They're doing Rock and Roman. I want people to be like, holy shit, they're doing Rock and Roman. You know. And we're not going to get that this year, unfortunately. So save it. Turn Rock heel. You have Rock and Roman together, which was not something we expected.
Sure.
That's cool. That's a whole different dynamic. And then obviously something happens between the two of them over the course of the year, and we get to the match next year.
Yeah, I think you're talking about it makes sense that neither one of them works that often, right? Then you're like weaving in the story, and there's that piece.
Time to get there.
Yeah. I agree with that. That's a good sentiment.
Month or they're only there a couple times a year, where it makes it much easier.
Yeah, that's fair. What about you, Danny? Final thoughts.
My final thought is if you hate The Rock, you're a jabroni fucking mark. That's what you are at the end of the day. How could you hate the great one? Let him go heel. Let him be Hollywood Rock. Let him do his thing.
Yeah, the Hollywood Rock was cool with the leather pants and that leather vest, right? I think I had one of those figures. I always thought that was a cool one.
That was a great one.
That was a great looking Rock. All right. That's fair. All right, I'm going to give you some points there. We're going to switch it up here, and we're going to talk a little bit more tag title match at Chamber. And so, again, I've talked a little bit about I love tag team wrestling. Butch and Pete Dunne and Tyler Bate, hopefully they'll come up. Maybe they'll go back to British Strong Style name, or they'll get matching gear for. But I do love the presentation. I think they're doing a good job. I don't think they beat Judgment Day. I think Priest and Balor need to lose to somebody. I don't know really when they can lose, but I don't think it's now. I think they lose at Mania, and then Priest tries to cash in later in the night. I think that's maybe what happens. Just because I just don't see the point in them losing right now, especially to a team that's not really. I also don't know if they have a team on the roster yet that's ready to take over at Mania either. So I guess we'll see what happens there. But I thought the tag team title match was really good against DIY. I'm excited for the Chamber, man, because like I said, I do love a good tag team match, and Balor and Priest have done a great job as tag champs, surprisingly so, in my opinion, right? Because it didn't feel like that was going to go somewhere, but they've done a really, really great job. So hopefully that'll turn out good. I do think, like I said, Pete Dunne being back and Tyler Bate, I look for that to move forward. But Danny, any thoughts on the tag title match at Chamber coming up next week?
Yeah, I'm in agreement with you. I think the Judgment Day ultimately take it. They're featured on Raw every week, prominent. But they're in a weird spot right now. It's like they're not really feuding at the top of the card, top of the line, but they're still there, and they're still prominent, and they're featured every week because you got Truth, you got Mommy, and you got the tag champs. So I ultimately think they're going to take it home. Pete Dunne and Tyler Bate, they're great workers. So I think it's going to be a banger of a match. I think Judgment Day is going to pick up a lot of steam, and just here's a bold prediction. I think ultimately Priest cashed in at Seth Rollins, and it's almost like a full circle moment for Seth Rollins at Mania, right? He's the first to cash in at Mania, and how many he gets cashed in on now? Especially hurt, the knee problems. Is he going to be back to 100% at Mania? We don't know, but why not elevate the Judgment Day to having all the gold around their waist?
Man, that would be sick.
Cody or Roman. So, yeah, I think it's going to be the setup at the Chamber. I don't think there's a tag team hot enough to take the belts off them right now.
I agree with that sentiment. What about you there, Freddie? What do you got?
Yeah, no, I'm looking forward to the match. I think they're going to have a great match. I like Pete Dunne and Tyler Bate. I don't think that they're ready to win the tag titles. To Danny's point, I don't think anybody is really at that point. They're so over that it's their turn. There's a lot of good guys that are getting there. You have the Creed brothers. You have Otis and Chad Gable. You have the Street Profits. You have Tyler Bate and Pete Dunne.
Yeah, is there anybody, while you talk about the Street Profits, just really quickly, is there anybody who's had a worse turn for a tag? I mean, I just feel like they were so hot, and with Bobby, it's like, I get the gimmick, but man, Karrion Kross and that whole is just not.
Well, I don't even mind them. I'm glad that they have, it needs to go somewhere.
Right.
I'm glad they're at least working with it. But the turn, it was an awkward, heel turn. They turned heel.
Right.
They never really were heel, and now they're just babyface.
Right.
It just hasn't been well done. I like the pairing, They just haven't done a good job with the pairing.
Agreed.
I hope we can get past that, and it does become good, and they sink their teeth into something. But back to the tag title match though. I think Judgment Day is gonna keep the belts, and I don't know when they lose it, and I don't know who to. Hopefully somebody gets over enough. DIY would be great,
Sure.
Or even if it is Tyler Bate and Pete Dunne, but just not yet.
Sure. Yeah, I agree. I mean, like I said, I love tag team wrestling, so I'm interested to see where it goes. I know WWE doesn't really focus on that, but Triple H I think does, and he kind of gets at that point of it. So we'll see what happens there. All right. Well, that's we didn't even use all the time on that one, so I feel pretty good about that. All right, we're gonna reset it here as we go to topic number 3, and it's AJ versus LA Knight. LA Knight unfortunately is the glutton of punishment right now. He hasn't really done anything since the Roman thing. I feel like it's hard when Punk returns and you've got Cody and Seth on top. Look, there's just not enough room. It's the same problem they had in the 2000s and 90s. Like, when you have that many top guys, not everybody can be a top guy, but you're going to make top guy money, but not everybody can be a top guy. And LA Knight right now and AJ feel like second level main event guys right now, right? Like, that's what they're going. And then that's okay. But I think AJ versus LA is that. I think personally, based on what we saw at SmackDown, they're going to be they're going to further that in the chamber situation and all that. But I do think that they square off at WrestleMania. I think that's where that's headed, potentially, if they can continue to kind of draw that out and see where that goes. But I love LA Knight, and I think he's still over with the right? And everybody does the whole thing. Everybody screaming LA Knight, but AJ Styles is still AJ Styles, so I don't know where it goes. I didn't feel like it's cool because it's another match, but I'm so focused on the main event stuff right now and the Judgment Day stuff that the other stuff kind of feels like filler. Unfortunately, that's kind of how it feels. So, Freddie, what about you on the AJ versus LA Knight?
Yeah, I mean, it's a great match. It's just, it is what it is. When you have Rock and Roman and Cody and Seth, on all cylinders, and you got Randy Orton in the mix, and CM Punk, yes, he's out right now, but he just got out, right? He'll be back before you know it. There's a lot of guys, that are over right now, and it's inevitable to get lost in the shuffle a little bit. I wouldn't be mad with the match happening. It is a nice addition, but it's kind of one of those, it is what it is. It'll
sure.
be a good match, but not many people will probably remember it. But I'm not so sure that is necessarily what we will get at WrestleMania.
Okay.
I think, being that LA Knight and Logan are both in the chamber, and there has been some rumblings of that match happening, that LA Knight's going to get a WrestleMania moment and win the U.S. title from Logan Paul at WrestleMania. And I think that's going to start inside the elimination.
I'm still hoping that Bad Bunny gets to fight Logan Paul, because I do think that would be excellent. The first ever celebrity versus celebrity, right? With no help. That would be sick. Yeah, could you imagine Logan Paul having to do the spots for Bad Bunny, right? Because that's kind of how it was with Priest, where you're like carrying that's incredible. The thought of that is mind blowing. Danny, what about you, man? I know you're an LA Knight guy, right? You like LA?
Yeah, I'm a fan of his. I just think when you get that over with the crowd, it's like you deserve to be at the top. There's no question about it. I just think that, like you guys both said, the roster is as stacked as it ever was. I mean, we didn't even mention like a guy like Drew McIntyre or Main Event Jay. There's just so many names that you could give the ball to and let him run with it. And where does LA Knight fit in that pecking order?
Right.
It's like he was the guy of, late to mid last year, but he's not right now. He cooled off. Where they slot him into Mania, I don't know. Same thing with AJ. It's like AJ is a legend at this point. He was probably the TNA GOAT, goes into WWE, starts over the heavyweight title. It's like, I think WWE just doesn't know what to do with them. It's like, how do we utilize these?
Yeah, I think the AJ thing is tough too, because he faced that a lot in TNA, right? Where he won the title relatively early in his career because he was so over. And he's just cool with just like continuing to hustle and do different stories. He's not like a get stuck in the mode and complain guy, it seems like. He seems like he's really focused on whatever's best for the business and himself at that point, but he's not, he doesn't really, I just think he does a great job when it comes to that. And so I think he's kind of in that same mindset right now where he's like, look, I just get to put on banger matches. I don't have to worry about, you know what I mean? Like, I don't have to worry about the title, but I can do this thing. And like, yes, I want to be in the main event title picture. Everybody does, but he's basically starting over again, right? Coming back from injury. He's starting over again. So it's interested to see what he does when it comes to Mania. I don't know what happens, but like I said, I think I'm interested to find out. And LA Knight, so AJ's out, right? Obviously, AJ's not in the Chamber. What is he? Does he do something at Chamber? Is he going to wrestle? I mean, Chambers. I think Chamber's going to be another one of those, like, it's 4 matches, right? Because it's going to be women's Chamber, men's Chamber, and then maybe 3 other matches max.
Yeah, you got Mommy, Nia Jax.
Yeah,
I think that's going last, actually. It seems.
well, I mean, you have to, right? You got to put her out there. I mean, she's the home. Yeah, it's like the British Bulldog in the Intercontinental title in '92, right? It's the same situation. You're gonna I just feel like that makes the most sense for the people. Send them home happy. Also, they'll probably do Waller because he's Aussie guy and all that stuff. So hopefully, I'm interested to see though, man. Chambers looking to be kind of stacked here. Let's.
I don't like that it's 5 a.m. in the morning, but it's.
We're gonna reload it. We're gonna continue to talk about Chamber here. Logan Paul in the Chamber. I thought Logan Paul's SmackDown segment backstage was the best he's done, because his in-ring thing, I hate it, right? It's like he's over the top cornball thing, right, where he knows he's kind of a douche. It's like that's his thing and that's cool, but I hate it. I just hate it. But backstage, I thought that was unbelievable, and I think he's continued to deliver in like almost every facet otherwise. And that segment was so funny. It was like on point. He did a great job like selling them. He's like, are you kidding? You know what I mean? Like, it was I thought it was entertaining, and I was really like, okay, I like this. So I'm excited to see. Do we think that Logan Paul though gets into the Chamber? Do we think he wins and he gets in? I say yes.
I'm going to say yes, just for the star power.
Sure. What about you, Fred?
Yeah, I think Logan will be in the Chamber. He's not going to win it, but he'll be in it. And
how many pins has Logan Paul taken?
It's got to be a few at some point. I mean,
he's taken 3, right? He took his first 3. He lost, right? He lost to Roman.
Well, he lost to Roman.
Yep.
The first match he lost, right?
Right.
Miz lost to Mysterio.
Yep.
But wait, or did Miz take that pin?
Oh, Miz might have taken that pin. Okay.
Took it.
Right? And then I'm pretty sure he beat Miz when they faced off that year at SummerSlam, didn't he? Didn't Logan beat Miz?
See, I don't remember off the top of my head. Someone type that in the words of Conrad. Type that in your Google machine.
Type that in your Google machine. That's great. But I mean, a couple. But if you don't count the Rumbles he's been in and the Money in the Bank, that he didn't win those, obviously. But
right.
Pinfalls, I don't. Besides Roman, actually, it might have just been that one.
Yeah, exactly.
They should protect him though.
Yeah.
No, 1,000%. That's kind of what I was saying. Is like I think that they do a great job protecting him.
I think they've done a really good job of protecting him, a really good job of booking him.
Yep.
Yeah. He's had some really good opponents. He's been in the right matches. He was great in Money in the Bank. He was great in the Rumble. He had the match with Kevin Owens, which was great. Him and Roman, obviously, was amazing. And when he went in there against Roman, that really impressed me because it was his 3rd match ever, and he's in there with the biggest star. And there's a certain style you have when you work WWE main event style, as they call it, and he hung in there with Roman Reigns for a half hour.
And I've said that, right? Logan Paul has been unreal in the matches. He's done a great job. And so that's what I'm saying. I think like he hasn't really taken that many L's. And I don't have to remember him. That's the good part too. It's not like I'm like focused on he's lost 30. He's done such a good job delivering. But he's wrestling Kevin Owens. No, who's he wrestling Friday?
Miz.
The Miz, right?
Which is kind of interesting. I mean, it's cool, the history there. First
Makes
time
sense.
On SmackDown too. That's kind of cool, but
I'm excited about that. So I think it'll be good. But like I said, I think they're doing a great job with the Chamber thing too, the way that they're like getting people into the matches and the way they're weaving everything in with the cross matches too as well, because you don't know who's going to wrestle. That way you've got 3 SmackDown and 3 Raw basically.
Yeah, I think they've done a good job with the qualifying matches.
The women's matches is too. I thought they've done a really, really great job. I hate when they announce everybody at first, so I think they did a really cool job with it. I think that's going to be really fun. I think Chamber's going to be an electric event. I mean, I'm not going to watch it at 5 a.m. I just won't be on my phone. I mean, I'll watch it at 7. Just 5 a.m. thing's probably not going to happen live. Well, I don't know how Fred's going to worry about watching live. He ain't watching. He missed last week. He missing all these times. We ain't going to be making it early.
Over here.
Busy man over here.
When you're important like that, man, I get it. I get it. Well, any other final thoughts, man? You guys on Chamber?
For Logan Paul, just real fast. I mean, in talking about the booking, I love utilizing him as most dynamically as possible. Right? It's like a guy is green getting into the business. So what do? You pair him with the Miz. You want to learn how to do a promo and go toe for toe with someone? You put him with the Miz. You want a brawling match and you want to get physicality? Feed him the KO. You want that star power? You want to feel the crowd electrified? You put him in with the top dog and Roman Reigns. That's how you build someone to be as well-rounded in this business as you can. So they're putting all the tools in him, and he's working with the right people to eventually become that megastar. And whether you like him or hate him, he's going to be that star because he's young,
sure,
he's athletic, good-looking dude. He's the total package of what WWE would want. He's just got to stay out of trouble on social media.
Yeah, I think you'll be okay with that. All right, Fred, last thoughts, even though the clock's running out.
Yeah, no, Logan Paul Elimination Chamber, that's money. Every match Logan's in is money, so.
Okay. All right. Well, that's we're getting close. I like I said, I think Chamber next week is going to be electric. I'm super excited to do some Chamber picks next week. As we roll in here. All right, we got a little new segment. I'm super excited about this. I thought of some different ideas. I've been watching some Around the Horn to pick up some ideas, some different things. I don't want to just do a recap show, right? Like everybody recaps. I don't know anybody in the business outside of like friends that wrestle and referees and things like that. Like, so I don't need to talk about recap, right? We're gonna mix it up today. So with that being said, I am super excited. One, my guests today again, Freddie and Danny, for joining us. I picked their two favorite wrestlers, and in this segment, you have to pick one of the worst parts of each wrestler's career, and that's all you get. You don't get the good parts. You don't get the world title runs. You get the worst parts, the 4 worst parts, and you got to pick one of them to keep, and that's what you get. So we're going to kick it off first here. I lied. We're going to talk about Mercedes, but we're not going to talk about that till the end. I lied. Don't worry about that.
What a swerve right there.
I know. Just kidding. We are going to talk about Pick a Taker first. So the Takers, right? I'm going to go through this. You've got Mean Mark in the top left, for those wondering. You've got in the top right, Dice Morgan in his famed New Japan Pro Wrestling run. So now, who likes the Japanese Pro Wrestling, Freddie? Then you've got Shitty Taker Mask in the bottom left and Commando in the right. So for all those watching at home, again, that's Mean Mark in the top left, Dice Morgan in the top right, Mask Taker in the bottom left, and Commando in the right. So, Freddie, we're going to kick it off with you. This is your guy. You are the Taker guy. Everyone, even if you've only watched this podcast one time or never watched it, you just know. So, Freddie, you got to pick one. Who's it going to be out of those 4, and tell me why?
I mean, so first off, the one I'm just to kick off that I'm not going to pick is the masked one, because I love that mask. I think it was a great look. You talk about making, chicken salad out of chicken shit. He crushed his orbital bone, and they got a cool thing out of it. Not for his whole career, but for a few months, it was something different. I like the mask.
Do you have the Elite figure with the mask?
I think that was before I started buying the Undertaker figures.
Okay.
Yeah, I've thought about going back, but that's a rabbit hole I can't go down.
Fair enough.
So
all right, so you're not picking the mask one. So again, for those, the mask, the bottom left is out. He says no to the mask.
I can't pick Mean Mark because that's how his career, well, technically it started.
So you're not going to keep either one of these things. You're going to pick a word. Okay. He's gonna pick the worst. Okay, so he's not picking me.
I have to pick the worst one, right?
You got to pick the worst one to keep. That's the one you get to keep. I think that those are the 4 worst stages. You got to keep one.
Oh, then I'm picking the mask. I love that shit.
Okay.
I misunderstood. Okay.
I'm sorry. I didn't do a great job explaining. I'm still new to the podcasting thing. Danny won't train me. It's whole thing.
I was going to pick, because I thought we had to pick our worst.
Sure.
We had to admit. I thought we had to admit.
Oh, no. That's okay. That's okay. So you're picking the mask one.
Commando.
Okay.
But because that movie is just
the shits.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So I was gonna pick, but now that I understand, all right. So then my answer is obviously the one with the mask, because I actually thought
because you thought that was good. All right, I love that. All right, Danny, you got to pick one too, man, of the Taker. Which of the worst one, and you got to stick with it. That's the only part of the Taker we get is that Taker. So which one?
Definitely the mask. I think it was the coolest look. You got that like mid-90s. He's about to enter Attitude Era Taker. Nice transition to get there. I mean, Mean Mark Callis, though, it's like every wrestler has that kind of pretty shitty beginning, at least in like the 80s, 90s. Everyone's got to start from somewhere. So that would be like my runner-up of, what would be the most solid. Because again, without Mean Mark Callis, he doesn't get to be the Undertaker, when he gets to WWE. So you got to kind of tip the cap there, no matter how crappy of a gimmick it was. But man, anything Mass Taker or just like the uniqueness of what he did in the 90s, to me, solid as hell. So
okay, all right. Well, I'm gonna even y'all out there. Okay, well, I'm gonna go with New Japan version of Taker. I just think it was a cool name. Dice Morgan's actually that's kind of a cool name. It's a little bit like 80s, early 90s vibe, but I did that. I'll tell you, the only reason I hated the Mask character is because I didn't. The new generation era of wrestling is what I grew up on. That's when my fandom began really pretty early on, but I was like zeroed in during New Generation, and I just wasn't a Taker guy at all. I just didn't. I got it, but I just was like, I don't know, it wasn't my thing. But I thought it was a cool, like you said, making chicken salad out of chicken shit there was pretty good. However, I have watched Suburban Commando. It is terrible, and the Taker is even worse in it. It's weird to think that is Undertaker, right, when you look at him. So I'm picking Dice Morgan if the one I could keep, just because then Freddie would have never found him, and I wouldn't have to harass him every day about him. So let me flash this back on the screen again. He has picked Undertaker with the mask. I have picked top right with Dice Morgan, and in the top left, Danny picked our man Mean Mark, and Suburban Commando gets the axe. So sorry, Commando. Great talk. I thought this was fun that we get to pick through, and now that we know for the next time. So next time we get to do a little segment like this. All right, now it is Danny's turn. We are talking about the man, the myth, the legend, Dolph Ziggler. These are not indicative of his career. I've tried to pick. It's kind of a little hard. So top left is Nikki during Spirit Squad Ziggler. You get TNA Ziggler.
It's Nikki.
Yeah. There. See, that's what I needed. So it's Nick. Do it one more time, Freddie, for me. What is it in top left?
It's Nikki.
There it is. So we got Nikki version in the top left. We got TNA version in the bottom left. Bottom right is the beginning of Vicky and Ziggler, right, where it was pretty terrible at the beginning. And then top right is his last 2 years in WWE, because those were pretty terrible. I think he's won. If you look at his record, is not great online. So those are the four again, right? So we got Nick, Spirit Squad, TNA version. Top right is last 2 year run and the beginning of Vicky and Ziggler. Danny, who do you got?
I mean, I'm pretty biased because he is my second all-time favorite to The Rock.
Okay.
Or it's at least close. But, I mean, talk about a guy who's been wronged probably more than any superstar in pro wrestling of his era. I mean, he becomes the gatekeeper of NXT superstars getting called up. That's pretty miserable. He gets the shittiest gimmick to start out with in the Spirit Squad, which I actually do have that action figure autographed because it is.
I love that.
Nicknamed Dolph Ziggler's rookie figure, so I do have.
Okay.
And then TNA, I'm super excited about. I think I'm gonna go with my favorite as being the TNA.
All right, so you're gonna keep TNA Ziggler. You don't get any of the other Zigglers. You're gonna keep TNA Ziggler.
Yeah, and my thought behind that is he's the same worker as he's always been. He could go. He could have a 5-star match with anyone. I'm excited to see where this is gonna lead to because people are talking about him again. He's gonna be one of the guys that steers the ship for TNA. So I don't think that's gonna be a negative really at all. So
okay.
I hope that they put the rocket on him. They give him that boost and he's that top tier talent. Like he was 2014, 2015.
Sure.
He was going for the heavyweight title when, Sting saves him to be the sole survivor. At that time, I don't think anyone was hotter than Ziggler in both of those moments.
Sure.
So, I'd like to see him come around and hopefully TNA is the right pick.
Okay. All right, Freddie, you gotta pick one to keep. Which one you going with?
First off, I am not gonna lie. I'm a little disappointed that we didn't have the caddy Nick Nemeth as an option up there.
I should have. I was between that and the last 2 years because the 2 years have been so bad. Yeah, I was trying to be. Yeah.
Kerwin White's caddy.
Yeah, exactly.
There's another start to you start off with that, and then it's like, all right, no, we're going to give you the Spirit Squad. Oh, good, something better. I actually thought the Spirit Squad were entertaining. I thought the stuff they did with DX was actually kind of good. I mean, it wasn't a long-lasting gimmick, obviously, but in that period, they were kind of over. In like that 06 period, for those few months, they were pretty over. Anyway, what I'm going to go with actually is the I don't know what year you want to say it was, 2010, 2011, with Vicky Guerrero. because while it may have been off to a little bit of a jumpy start and like, oh, that's an odd combo, whatever, and it was weird, it transitioned into, I think, the years that were Dolph's best. And it all started with his pairing with Vicky Guerrero.
Sure.
And I think they evolved into a great pairing.
Yeah.
To the point that when they kind of split them up, it was like, oh, damn, that sucks, because they were so good together. But so I'm gonna keep the Dolphin and Vicky combo right there.
Okay. I am. I like that, and I apologize. I thought I was prepared, but I've missed a few production notes. Someone should hire a producer for me. I've done a great job pre-producing, but my post-production has not been great. I'm missing the points. I'm gonna go with. I'm gonna. I can't. I don't. Man, this is actually a lot harder than I thought it was. I think I'm gonna go with Vicky, early Vicky and Ziggler, their first ones, because like you said, that kind of made his career. It was funny when I'm trying to find photos of the gimmicks, right, of each one. That one was hard to find because there was every time he was with Vicky, he had a title belt on, but that was later on with that because that went for a little while, right?
Yeah.
It was like pretty bad at first when she had moved off of Edge into Ziggler, right? It was kind of like that weird thing. So, but every other picture was him with his Intercontinental title. I'm like, well, that kind of sucks. But I think that's the one I would keep because he was still putting on bangers. He was really trying to find himself as Dolph Ziggler, which great name, right? I mean, I don't hate the name. I thought it was pretty good. I think it's a little based on Derek Diggler, whether he likes it. Oh, you got you got the Dolph shirt on. I love that. All right.
Low mark status, right?
I love that. That's good stuff. So yeah, I think I'm gonna keep that Vicky. All right, man. That was a good topic. I enjoyed that one. All right, next one here for us. AEW stars. One has to go. Now I know you guys aren't. I mean, of course, we're all wrestling fans. See, I knew that. This is why I couldn't have Miguel here tonight because I just knew he'd be like, everybody's got to go. They've all got to go. They all suck. They were terrible in WWE. They're nothing now. That was my Migs. If I could do a Jersey accent, I would have done it too. All right, we're gonna reset the clock here.
Oh, these are who we have to pick. Oh,
yeah, yeah. One of them has to go. Yeah, so one has to go. You've got to keep. You could keep them. You keep all. You could keep 3 of the 4, and this is what it looks like. So we're gonna start it off here with AEW stars, and we've got in the top left Kenny Omega, top right Samoa Joe, bottom left is Bryan Danielson. Say it with me, Freddie. And then on the bottom right is the Hangman, Adam Page. So for me, I'm gonna kick this one off. For me, I'm gonna say Hangman. And the only reason I say that is that I don't really think Hangman has the amount of star talent that the others do. He's great in the ring and he does a lot of cool stuff, but when you're talking about those other 3, I think Kenny struggles on the mic because Kenny worked in Japan for a long time and that's not his specialty, but he makes up for it. I mean, he's significantly better than 98% of wrestlers that you watch. Like, he's just that much better than them. As far as like in-ring art and the way that he tells his story is a little different. So for me, again, I'm going to get rid of Hangman. I'm going to hang the guy out to dry. And he's got to go. So he's my AEW star. He's got to go. What about you, Freddie?
So I am going to pick someone that will probably surprise you.
Okay.
I am picking Bryan Danielson.
Oh,
okay.
And my reasoning is so that he can come home.
Okay. Well,
and be Daniel Bryan. So
you know what? I was gonna give you points. Now I'm taking them away.
It's worth taking the points. Come home, son.
I love that. All right, fair enough. You know what? I'm gonna give some of his points to me just for his terrible take. That was actually good, Freddie. I like that. Danny, what about you, man? Who you getting rid of?
I'm split between Samoa Joe and Hangman. Out of the 2, Samoa Joe.
Wow.
Take a fucking hike,
Take a hike.
So I'm known on my Card Foundation podcast as a Samoa Joe hater, so I got to keep the...
I love that. You keep the gimmick alive. Kayfabe is real for those of you watching at home, baby.
You know what it is? I feel like the past couple years, and I'm not fully knocking him, the guy, TNA legend, great worker, great performer for the first 3/4 of his career. But as he started against that mid-card, he gets lost in the shuffle, he just comes off as that tough badass. And to me, is he the best on the promo? No. Is he the best in the ring? No. I mean, he's done okay as champion so far, but I just see him as that transitional guy. Hangman, I think, has that more long-term star power to where if he continues to build up, I mean, I still say that Hangman in AEW had one of the best come-ups for chasing the title.
Yeah.
I mean, he was red hot when he was trying to get that title, and he kept getting knocked down, and then he finally won the belt. Did he have the best title reign? Probably had the worst title reign. But I think he could kind of recapture that with the fans to get red hot at any time. So
yeah, I was there when Jericho won the title the first time, so I thought that was really cool. And I like I said, for Hangman, I get stuck on the. I love the gimmick. I love the stuff, the way that they present him. But if I had to choose between those four, like I said, I'm getting rid of Hangman. The thing about Joe, and I'm going to give myself points. I think you're right about the mid card thing. I don't think Joe can do the mid card thing at all. In TNA, he struggled when he lost the title, and then they moved him back down, and he had the face paint thing, and it was not Samoa Joe at all. Right. I've only really known Samoa Joe on the top, and then his other times, but he's such a great he did good on commentary, and he was great as NXT champion. They make him they make him the King Kong, right? It's the King Kong effect. I don't know, man. I just think I love that you're a Samoa Joe hater. Freddie, are you sure you don't want to give any more points? You sure you don't want to say anything else?
It's the same shit that he's been doing. He's acting like that tough son bitch.
Yeah, he's never made a character change.
No one's gonna fight me.
Yeah.
Okay, wait till someone bigger and better comes along, and then what do you say? It's which AEW doesn't have that type of guy yet.
Sure.
Unless you got a Wardlow going at him, that's the only realistic thing.
Okay. What about you? Anything else there, Freddie?
I love the Great Muta.
No, you don't. Shut up. don't try to. You know what's funny? I even was nice enough to wear my Mania shirt today. Now, granted,
I love that shirt. Where did you get that?
Yeah, so this is actually this is a remake of the original. I'm a huge wrestling T-shirt collector. If anybody knows me, this is a remake that a dude who makes bootleg ones and remakes. I don't know if this was mid card merch or Violent Club.
That's cool.
Yeah, so
like homage or something.
No, this, I would. That would have been cool too. I'm a big homage guy, right? Because I grew up in Columbus, so I love homage. I actually just got Casey an American Nightmare shirt for the next time we go to WWE event. She can rock the Cody shirt. She's big on the Cody train. But yeah, so I even wore this shirt because I was like, I'm gonna be a WWE guy for Fred, and he comes out here and just throws the absolute shade. You know what? You're losing another point for talking crazy about me.
I was trying to get bonus points.
No, you were. I don't believe it. All right. We got one more gimmick here to go through tonight. This is one of my favorite things. I love wrestling. I hate gimmick matches, though. I'm like one of those weird purists. And the reason I came up with this, and I'll tell you just a quick brief story, is that last week, New Japan Pro Wrestling had maybe one of their first cage matches in... I don't know the exact history, but I know they haven't had many. They don't do cage matches. They don't do gimmick matches. They don't do ladders. They do table spots and they do hardcore stuff, but they don't have no DQs because they just don't do that. And I've always liked that for some odd reason, and I think that's the thing about I love DCW's wrestling matches and I love the New Jack thing, but any more than that, I was like, okay, I get it, but why do we need 12 of them? And that's also why I think WCW was the worst in 99, 2000, 2001, because everything was on a pull. So I do not love gimmick matches. However, WWE does the best gimmick matches. They always have. Their production's better. There's some weird ones that are kind of dumb, and that's whatever. But so we're going to get a chance to talk about it. You get to bring back one gimmick match that you haven't seen in the last, let's call it 5 years. Right? So you haven't seen this gimmick match in 5 years. And I am going to go with I don't know what I'm going to go with, actually. No, I'm just kidding. I'm going to go with the double title Intercontinental title match. The double title belt Intercontinental title. I loved the way, and I know it's kind of, they do the ladder match thing, but I thought that was the coolest version. I just got the WrestleMania 10 figure, which I was talking about. It's got the double title belts with Razor Ramon and Shawn Michaels. So I think a way to bring back that gimmick title match where they combine, and it doesn't have to be, it could even be maybe Cody and Seth go for, winner gets the undisputed or that type of thing where you've got two separate belts combining into one. A unification ladder match is what we'll call it. That's the gimmick match I wish I could see again. I wish they would bring back. Or I take the other one I do wish, and I just got this figure collection too as well, is the blue steel cage. I'm done with the black. I'm done with the red. I'm done with the fence-looking cage. I want the blue steel cage back. That's my other one. So,
Classic.
yeah, those are my thoughts. What about you, Freddie?
Yeah, no, the blue cage. It's funny. I was always surprised. I mean, I know apparently it was very like unforgiving, but I was always surprised. Like at least like when they would do those old school Raw nights or whatever.
Yeah,
I was always surprised they didn't bring that back for one night.
That's what I said. I always thought that was super weird, right? Like yeah. I think it is a lot heavier. I do know that it is a lot heavier.
Right, and you have to build it actually, not hang it.
Right, you can't hang it. Yeah, you've got to connect. Yeah, so maybe that's a thing too. I don't know.
Logistically, but it would have been cool, like for a one night only.
Yeah, thing, I agree. All right, you're gonna get some of your points back. I love that.
All right, I actually unnecessary trivia note. Yesterday marked 25 years since St. Valentine's Day Massacre, which was the last time we would see Big Blue, although it was black.
Yeah, they painted it right, but it was still Big Blue. It was still the
last time that they ever used that.
That's really cool. I didn't know that. That's a cool trivia fact.
Yeah,
I get some points there for that.
Yeah, I'm gonna give you on that one. That's a good one. I like that. All right, now what gimmick match do you want to bring back? You already told. You said you had one, so I'm excited.
Yeah, it has. I mean, we already discussed who my guy is, so for me, it's got to be the Buried Alive match. I was always just marveled by it as a kid. I still am. I want to know how they do it, but I don't want to know how they do it. I mean, I have ideas.
It's a little bit of a magic trick, which is the cool part, right?
It's just always fascinating to me. I remember I wasn't a fan, unfortunately, for Taker Mankind. I have obviously seen it,
Right.
The first one I saw was Rock Bottom with Taker and Austin. But I just always loved it. I thought it was the coolest thing. And I remember when I, thought it was real, which it is, right?
I still think it's, hey, wrestling's still real to me, damn it.
How are they going to do this?
Yeah.
Like, he's going to get buried alive?
I love that.
And it just intrigued me so much, and they haven't done it now. The last one they did was Taker and Kane at Bragging Rights 2010.
Oh, wow, okay.
It'll be 14 years in October. Without Undertaker, it will be less than, I believe.
Yeah, they don't really have that dark character right now to do that.
But if I could bring it back, I would be very
That's a cool one.
And ideally with Undertaker.
They're releasing the Terry Gordy... Executioner figure. Yeah. It's gonna be sick. I'm a huge Terry Gordy fan. I thought him and Miracle Violence connection with Dr. Death Steve Williams, I thought was so cool. I watch a lot of old school WCW when they were tag champs and in All Japan and stuff. I see a lot of clips on YouTube, and I just think that's like so cool. So I'm excited to have it. I have the Freebirds figure as well, which is the only other Terry Gordy figure cool. that came out, other than the Rimco AWA. But all right, Danny, what about you, man?
Anyone that knows me knows I have a dark side, right? So I gotta go with Blue Chew on a pole. In all seriousness,
bro,
put it on a pole, bro.
Russo idea if I ever heard one.
That would be. But in all serious, I think the top two for me, I'd be between either First Blood, which WWE probably won't ever do again because of blood on TV. They can do it in AEW, but
everybody bleeds on TV. That's the opposite. Everybody bleeds.
Yeah, I love a good old I Quit match.
Okay.
The Rock Mankind it's a classic. I think there's so many unique things that you could do, and I know we've had it in the past 5 years. We had Roman Reigns almost mess up by getting handcuffed and ruining the spot. But yeah, I think the I Quit match is like, what's more demeaning to a character for someone that quits in the middle of the ring? I think it just adds layers to what you could build for storylines. In unique ways, like Mankind comes back on TV. He says, "Oh, I didn't quit. It was the recording." And there's so many cool things, and you could do with it to make it unique. So that would be mine.
All right, I love that. We got some good ones there. That was a good little segment, bringing it back. Well, this has been great. Again, we got another one. We didn't get to talk about Mercedes. We'll save that for next time because I don't think she's ever going to show up, and I think we're all being worked. And I'm giving myself a point for that because that means I am the winner tonight. Finally, 3 episodes in. That's what you call booking yourself on top, baby. Going into business for yourself. Yeah. Well, hey, let me tell you something, Fred. If you want this SmackDown, you can get it too, buddy. I appreciate y'all, man. Thank you guys again for joining us. Danny, hit him with the podcast one more time.
Yeah, subscribe, Apple, Spotify, the Card Foundation podcast, talking about wrestling cards, collectibles, investing in the hobby. So check it out. You'll enjoy it.
Hell yeah. Freddie Fresh, what do you got to say last, man? Any final notes before we dip out today?
Yeah, no, this was a fun episode. Really enjoyed it. I like the different topics we talked.
Hell yeah.
Picking one and our match we want to bring back. I thought that was fun, and it was also good to talk about what's going on. It's a hot time right now in the world of wrestling, especially WWE with WrestleMania season, and we're only getting started. It's only going to get hotter as we get closer to it.
Hell yeah, and we're going to be here.
Rock and Roman Reigns, Salt Lake City, finally.
You know what's funny? Salt Lake City getting all the heaters, man. I'm telling you, they got they're getting all the matches. They're getting a double show again, right? So pretty cool for them. Yeah, man. Thank you guys again. I am at VPJ North. That is at DTank_2. My guy at Freddy_Fresh88. We are around the mat. We're gonna have different folks, and honestly, Freddie and Danny probably gonna join me for a while until people start watching and realizing that Freddie deserves to be beat up for his fandom. And Danny's hate for Samoa Joe will continue to come out. Thank you guys for joining us on Twitch. If you did, check us out on YouTube at AroundTheMatPod, on Instagram, on Twitter, on everywhere you can find us. And we'll be back again another time. So shout out. Thank you guys again for joining us, man. Y'all take it easy.